it. We'll talk about NYRA Bets. Play the carryover, play the races, play them everywhere. NYRA Bets. Head over to NYRABets.com if you're not a member. He's back.
There he is.
Couldn't keep away. Performer's retired in the racetrack, but he lives on in the NYRA Bets promotion. He'll be pensioned, and she'll be showing you that thing. Anyhow, if you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match for $200 your initial deposit. You know, when you have a slate, you just want to go with it. You don't want to give it up.
You ever seen that?
You could argue that that slate was a jinx for Performer. He was doing fine until we put that slate up with his picture. That may have been the problem. It wasn't the day of the races. It wasn't anything. That slate, that did it.
I hope nobody finds out. I hope nobody finds out.
The curse of the slate. Saturday contest, by the way. You can register until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Every Saturday, $300 buy-in.
Register Friday, play Saturday. You can register the rest of the week, too. But
it's a secret, because you don't want to get slates for these things, so it's a secret. Oh, look at this, Francisco.
Francisco from out of the clouds?
He's like Silky Sullivan, coming from nowhere. 50-50. Got a 50-50 for Belmont and Oaklawn today. Belmont and Churchill. Oaklawn's not until tomorrow, I don't think. December, they're starting.
This is a slam.
Oh, we have a new opt-in, by the way. In order to participate in promotions, you got to opt in. There's an opt-in button on NYRA Bets, letting you know.
Interesting.
Also, America's Day at the races will be 3 to 8:30 tonight here, and Churchill carryover in the pick six, $69,660. Races 4 through 9. I know there had been some misinformation out there. They said we were off the turf today.
It's beautiful.
It did rain on Tuesday.
It did rain. It rained so much on Tuesday, the tomato plants almost flooded at the house at Casa Stabile. Yeah.
I was walking down to get my new computer. I have a new computer.
Oh, that's right. We were on the phone.
Very excited.
Yeah. You got off the phone with me just as, it opened up in Howard Beach, and obviously we're about 8 miles away from here. So, but beautiful day. Turf courses look great.
Race number turf courses. Looks like the rail is out a wee bit on both courses.
Yep.
It's probably 9 feet at the most. Race number 1, we'll take a look at Obsessed, winning 3 back. Was claimed out of this race for $40,000. Has not run really that badly for Tom Morley. He's just over his head. Tom's dropping him in for 20. He's thinking, if I can win here, he will likely get claimed. I can get out and wash my hands and move on. And that appears to be what's going on. Not the corner horse I love to pick, but I didn't have a good alternative against him.
I'm with you, my friend. I put Pier 42nd. That pretty much sums up what I think what's going on in here. Yeah,
you make a great point.
He just Obsessed has the representative races that
he didn't run badly for Tom, and that's the thing. It's not like he did. And
Tom claimed that horse closing weekend at Saratoga too. Last Judgment, he got a win from him. Last Judgment actually went on to become a stakes winner. So Tom's had some success.
You think he's winning those stakes because of Tom's training?
No, what I'm saying is Tom, at the very least, spotted one that went on to do some good things, and it's hard to have success off of Todd Pletcher.
The other problem is actually he claimed a horse for $40,000 in a non-winners of 2 lifetime that he was 3 to 5. So it was highly likely he was going to lose the condition. And the problem is, once he loses that condition, his value becomes considerably lower. So he claimed a horse that was almost certain to be worth less than he claimed him for after the race. He tried him in tougher spots. He couldn't move forward. He still ran buyer speed figures that are very much in line with the race he claimed him from. He's just better than Pier 40. I mean, maybe he doesn't show up and Pier 40 wins, or somehow Respect for All wins. I put Seek the Peak second in this race, because even though he didn't run well in the muddy sealed track, I think he's very clearly the other horse in this race, because he has the representative races before the layoff that are fast enough to beat Obsessed if Obsessed runs his race. Pier 40 does not. Pier 40 can only win this race if both the 3 and 5 completely fail to show up. Yeah, because even with the note of magic, he's just not that good.
Seek the Peak has kept some better company as well. Fearless, Pirates Punch, Intrepid Heart.
He's run the figures too, But he came back off a layoff, and he did catch a muddy sealed track. He's dropping precipitously. He'll probably get claimed as well, but you have to admit, to me, it's not even close. He is clearly the second likeliest winner of this race. Okay. Both the 3 and 5 have to completely fail to show up in order for the 2 to win this race, which may happen, but it's only happening if they just can't run it all.
Oh, not that Brady in here today,
Not that Brady. I think he's pointing for the Suburban and Whitney, I assume, of his last race.
Brady's right here.
Oh, he's on the turf. Well, he didn't run that badly on the turf when he ran on the turf in one of his races, right?
Yeah, way back. That was wow, it was 2 falls ago at this point. Last year's kind of a little bit of a blur. That was October of 19.
He was the put-over. He's up for the put-over of the year awards with his win last time.
He's the leader
Went
in the
from
clubhouse,
20,
right?
25 to 1 to 9 to 1 in the last flash. Took about $9,000 in a punch.
And was never in doubt.
He was
Dueled early and
17
just
to 1 in
galloped.
multi-race bets and paid 9 to 1. Trained by Orlando Nota's father-in-law, I believe. Lennon Cruz
I
is
believe
Orlando
that's
Nota's
correct.
father-in-law. Really interesting how a horse just lost his form, completely got it back, and he got bet like they
We
kind
go
of
to the
knew he
second
would.
race for Francisco.
We'll see what happens with him. I actually had him 5th because, I mean, I'm not going to.
I put him 4th.
After his last race, I think anything's possible. I think maybe here, maybe Poker Suburban, Fort Whitney 4-Star Dave, something like that for him. There's really only 2 horses in here with
Andy.
any real form. Well, if he could win his last race, what's not possible? Ghost Giant, who I think you and I both have on top. We'll start with him. We'll show him winning at Fairgrounds. I mean, it is what it is. He was claimed by George Weaver. He for 40. He drops in for a quarter. He's looking to get the purse, get claimed, get out, make a profit, and move on. I get it. He's probably going to win this race.
These state-bred races often turn into the scenario Andy just laid out for you. And it's not just here in New York. It's a lot of these state-bred programs. In Florida comes to mind in the winter. It's, you know, it's almost like rent a horse. You claim the horse. The state-bred money's so lucrative. I mean, this purse is $55,000, almost $30,000.
Question about it.
Just keep going. You know,
Right,
just
and I think
turn it over.
you don't love the claim drop down. But don't forget, he claimed this horse for 40, and he already run for a quarter.
Right.
So he probably had this race in mind. I don't know if this is a book or an extra,
Absolutely.
but he probably had it in mind. And it's not really. This is not really a drop. If this purse were 40,000,
It's a drop.
and he was claimed, he wins. It's like the first race. You
This
move
is not-
on.
this is not a
This
drop.
is one where they get the win. He gets claimed. They make money.
Make money.
And
You
by the
make
way,
money.
let me say something else. This horse ran for a quarter and didn't get claimed. So it's not a certainty he gets claimed out of this race.
And plus now, you know, you see 5 weeks between starts, 6 weeks between the last couple of starts, 7 weeks now between starts. Obviously, you know, I think that will keep.
He's a 6-year-old.
That'll keep somebody away. I mean, they'll probably around here they claim horses.
You getting in
They
line?
buy cartons of eggs. So yeah, I'm out of the claiming
Yeah,
game
yeah,
right now.
and he's just horse to beat. And Dr. Shane has been running for 16,000. And that's the thing about him. We'll take a look at his last race, only because I just want to show you the trouble he had last time. He couldn't have won this race on any circumstances anyway. He's not in any good as these. And I think this is a really good, this would be like my textbook example of why getting the rail in these mile 16 races can be tricky. I mean, Louis Saez tried to sort of move him forward. He just didn't be as fast. And it's just, this is, you know, it's not Louis's fault. He just got completely shuffled out of the race, and he actually got steadied again. I think in here he gets up, and there was another steady, actually. That's why I wanted
And
to show
for
a little
horse
bit more.
like
But
him, whose best races are when he's
that's
forward.
why I said 3/4, but whatever.
For a horse like him, whose best
We show
races,
the whole backstretch when I say just the start. I say I want 5/16 a mile, and we get about 1/8 of a mile. Whatever.
when a horse like him, whose best races are when he's forward or on the lead, in fact, when you get bothered like that.
Aren't his
leave
best
it out of
races
there.
going shorter?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Yeah, he's probably a better sprinter.
When he closes, he's a better closing sprinter.
Yeah,
But a mile on this course, he could win.
he could.
But I mean, who else are you going to take?
They're the two by far. Dylan Davis, by the way, Hector Diaz not on his mounts here today. Nuts for Bolts is Dylan Davis.
I like Hector. I think Hector rides well. Thank you for that. You know, with Nuts for Bolts, I want to show a stat for the Notas, who have had obviously great results at this meet, but their results in the turf are very minimal for what it's worth. 3 for 28, just 7 hitting the board, 11% $1.53 ROI. There's a big priced horse in there. I know at least one, but. Regardless, I just thought I'd put that up for trainers that can win at a high percentage. They have not had those. Their results have been primarily on the turf, not the dirt. On the dirt, not the turf.
You had that stat and still put the source third. I mean, there's just nowhere else to really go.
I agree, unless you want it. Listen, and I'm not
Unless
going
you want to ride that, not that Brady train again.
I'm not going to be shocked when he runs well. I probably should have put him 4th.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to just have him.
Outrageous Bet ran well enough last time that I thought you could put him in. He's more of a sprinter,
More
but
of a sprinter, right?
but
Yeah,
he
you
does
kinda
have
feel the same about Dr.
miles.
Shane.
Good, but yeah, I'm not.
Ghost Giant shows up. Ghost Giant's supposed to win this race.
I agree. I agree with you. I totally agree. Race number 3, unfortunately, 3 scratched out of here. The right 3 may have stayed in, but 3 came out for 90,000. I think they're all vet scratches, though. You're just upset. Dermot Magner was back. So you had the 3 on top. So you obviously scratched to the 5 here.
I did not have them.
You pick every Dermot Magnet, or you love Dermot Magnet
You're
racehorses.
such a sick individual.
What?
We have flip-flop top picks. I put Velvet Sister
Got them
on
all
top.
up there, guys. They left
Yep,
them all
we're
up.
going to have the winner
By the way,
here.
you only need the first two. Most people should be able to figure out who our third choices with just the first two.
Because all we have is win, pick 3, and double wagering in this race.
So why did you pick Velvet Sister?
I got a little push on Velvet Sister. Her Velvet Sister could run a little
Was
bit.
it bigger or less
was
than
about
that
that,
one?
just about
By the
that.
way, if Anthony
It
has
was just about
as a
that.
push on this horse, last is probably the right
It
spot.
was just about that.
When's the last horse that you say on the show you had a tip on that won? Seriously, and it's true, right?
Bonnie South ran well. I didn't have a tip on Bonnie South.
She actually ran fine.
By the way,
She actually ran fine.
Phil got a good kick out of that.
She actually ran fine.
She did. Yeah, I mean,
fine. Well, she was
Larousse
good.
is just
Too
in
good.
a different zone right now.
So you want to discuss this horse a
No,
little
I
bit?
mean,
Or
I mean,
just a tip. That's it.
Yeah, $500,000 Bernardini. They're going to sprint this horse first time out.
Anthony didn't have enough time to do any of the work on this card, so I'll help.
Thanks.
This horse is a half to My Boy Tate and Charlie McCoy, two very good New York breds, $500,000 Bernardini. Obviously, you've got Pletcher, Asmussen, and Chad Brown. How many 2-year-olds did firsters did Steve Asmussen win with last year? Or 2-year-olds, period. Maiden races.
I want to go 11?
No. In America, 11.
Oh, I thought you meant
11,000.
I thought you were talking about Saratoga.
Just Saratoga, right.
Yeah. I thought you were alluding to Saratoga.
Todd's got the $190,000 purchase for Mike Rapoli. He's a first Samurai. It's the first foal from an unraced dam. Velvet Sister, we says after My Boy and Charlie McCoy. Do you know who Gerrymander's a half to?
I do not.
I'm going to give you a hint.
I was going to say, can I have a hint?
He won here on Saturday. It was Belmonte, in case you forgot.
Thank you very much.
And it wasn't essential quality.
It wasn't essential quality. Wow.
But
is it Hard Love?
there's a correlation to him in essential quality.
I give up.
Hard Lone Rock, winner of the Brooklyn.
That was something, huh?
Yes, it was. 2 seconds slower than the Belmont. Into Mischief, half to Lone Rock. Supposed to be a runner. We'll see. I went 6-5. You went 5-6. Tip. Little push.
Tip time. A little push.
It's got to be a big
I mean,
enough push.
it's
It's got to be more than a little
three-horse.
push to move you, doesn't it? A little
Three-horse
bit.
race. Could knock me over with a feather. What are
Who
you
knows?
talking
It could
about?
end up being one of the best maiden races of the year.
Could very well be.
With between your tip.
Mr. Miyagi always says, trust quality, not quantity. So Mr. Miyagi
I'd
told
have preferred a
Daniel.
little more quantity in this race. 3 is a little silly.
It's okay.
Anyhow,
It is what it is.
it's the 4th race coming up in Francisco. You know what that means?
It's time.
It's time to discuss the pick six.
$340 shy of 70 dimes.
69,660. A lot of sixes in there.
Joel Rosario rides the 8, the important one.
It's a very good scratch for Anthony in this race because Capelli had absolutely no chance whatsoever. It's a very bad scratch for pick 6 players because you could have beaten the second choice here. Well, it's not a good scratch for you because you scratched into a horse that can't win.
Thanks.
So, well, you did, but you scratched into the one horse you don't want from that race, actually. But anyway, that's besides the point. By the way, the morning line in this race is lunacy, but it'll be fixed a little bit because of the scratch. I'm trying to figure out which part
And
of the
by the way, David Aragona is not making the morning line this week. David
I'm
is
trying
on
to find out
vacation.
which fine that Dan Stops would be 30 to 1. Yeah, no,
That was
no.
30 to 1?
Morning line, yeah, it's quite a, well, it was 5-2 scratch. He could have lowered it to 20. He wasn't going to be that either. Dan's with
Screaming Bob's
Daffodil.
going to be 10 to 1?
No, this is a terrible morning line. It's just a fantasy morning line. Even with the 9 in here, she wouldn't have been 10 to 1. We'll take a look at the race, the whole race that Silky Blue, Screaming By, and Dancing with Daffodils were in, as well as my favorite horse on the outside. I believe the horse that took the absolute worst of it was Dancing with Daffodils. Now,
Well, she's always going to in paceless races,
no, but
right?
it's not even that. She had the worst trip of anybody in here as well. And she kind of got sort of given up on, to be honest with you here.
Okay.
she was given up on. And I like her. I think Lizana will have her. I don't disagree. She's not getting much pace in here, and she's like in trouble again. There she is. See, she's completely steadying out there. Where Screaming By and she both didn't break particularly well. Screaming By had a very, very good trip after that, an absolute dream trip. Whereas Dancing with Daffodils, not only did she have significantly more trouble on, they just gave up on her anyway. And you could watch her. She's great. If you don't agree with me, feel free. But I'm going to say they gave up on her. As far as Silky Blue, I know the winner was able to control up front. There's the gray and back, giving up, being given up on. And I think you'll agree with me, Anthony.
Oh, I don't disagree with. I
Silky,
don't disagree with
no,
you
I
at
know,
all.
no, I know you don't. No, I know,
The
no, I know,
problem
no, I know
is,
you don't.
right, this race is supposed to unfold fairly similarly, isn't it?
Well, we'll see.
Fetching and
We'll see. Maybe she'll break sharper.
Yeah, I mean, but she's never been a filly that's had any speed.
Seattle. The problem with Silky Blue is she keeps hanging. I don't like that. She hung in this race. I know the winner had a right to wire the field, and she's not a bum, but she's got some. She's got some hang on her. By the way, Talking Horse is presented by Saratoga Water.
Yes.
I was remiss in mentioning that. I had extra bottles to bring down. They're on my desk. I was too stupid to remember for 45 seconds to bring them. Saratoga Love is the speed in here, right? Does it concern you that she could wire the field?
I mean, I guess it does, but you and I, this is one of our.
Well, that's where we agree. But to be fair.
I mean,
she hasn't been on the.
How many perfect trips did she have?
But
last
Anthony,
year?
when she got a perfect trip and wired the field by a nose and beat Risky Mischief, she ran an 82 by her.
So you're gonna.
I'm not
argue
a big,
this with me.
I'm not a big fan. I'm just saying she could wire this field.
She could. Listen, I like Cocapelli, whether she had a chance or not. It becomes a more difficult race for me to handicap because I feel like there are a lot of horses now. There's only 7 left, but I think you can make a case for. My question to you is this: I guess Saratoga Love's supposed to go to the lead. She's not that fast. Fetching's not that fast either. Do you try to get the hang out of Silky Blue by being aggressive with her?
I would.
I mean, that's what I would do.
She's not that fast.
Put Silky Blue on the lead. She's not, but none of them really are. Andy.
Well, Saratoga Love's not that slow. She's fast enough.
She's not that slow.
She's not that, but she's not that slow. She's not. So she's the speed in here if they want to be. I think she's very dangerous. I probably should have had her higher. I struggled a little bit with this race.
I didn't have her on the top
I want Fetching because I don't want somebody from that last race that we just looked at. I don't think those horses are that good. And if you look at Fetching, her first race was against Better. She was badly compromised by a slow pace. Her second race was against Better. She made a big middle move in that race. Then they tried to go a mile with her in her last start. I think Fetching finally gets a chance to run in a field that she can beat. I think she's running against better horses than these if you look through, and she might just be the right new face in here. If I had to do over again, I'd probably have gone 4, 6, 7, 3. Sometimes.
You're not afraid of her, of Saratoga Love pulling the same thing that the Maybe
well, anyway, this way, you're putting a lot of money in this pick 6. You don't want Saratoga Love as the speed on your tickets?
If you're playing
somewhere, A or B.
See, and that's right. And that's what I meant. Whether you liked Cocapelli or not, if you had an opinion in this race and it scratched, the race becomes that much.
Well, I don't think Cocapelli had any chance near it. I think all of the value of the race is a lot of it's gone when she scratched because she's been incredibly lucky and she's beaten bad horses and she's gotten incredibly lucky and she wasn't getting pace today.
Opinion in this race, basically what I'm trying to say is
that was my biggest opinion. She was a joke.
Okay, so then you're pretty much in the same boat you were in because you got a spread in here. Yeah.
Well, spread or not, I like Fetching. I have no problem with that, but I think you have to use Saratoga Love in here because you've got a horse that has run fast to beat these, albeit with a perfect trip, but she might get the same perfect trip today. And to be too stubborn and say, oh, she only won that race because she got lucky, well, she might get the exact same trip today, and on paper, she rates to get it. They don't run races on paper, but she's not going to be favored, Anthony. Now, the morning line here is fantasy.
And I think she will be shorter than
but
she should be because she looks like she's the speed in a paceless race. And I just don't know if I trust her.
She will be. And what price do you think she should be?
What price do I think she will be?
And what price do you think she should be?
I think she'll be 3-1.
She won't be 3-1. She'll probably be around 4-1, somewhere in that range, maybe a little more, depends. But she probably won't be 3-1. What price do you think she should be in?
I mean, based on her trips, she should probably be about 6-1, 7-1.
Incorrect.
You don't agree?
Not even remotely.
Okay.
Not even remotely. Not even.
And
Now
here's the
you're-
horse you and I argued about a lot last year because I picked her off these perfect
But
trips,
the-
and you were right.
But the difference is she wasn't supposed to get it. When she got it on October 2nd, somebody got left, nobody went. It was something strange circumstance. Now she's actually in a race where she is way the speed in this race. That doesn't mean that something weird won't happen.
Right.
But on paper, if she's not on speed and
Fair enough.
she's not on lead and she breaks, you have to ask them what they were possibly thinking unless somebody goes on a suicide mission.
Right. Right.
But she wasn't in those situations on paper.
No,
She
she
just got
wasn't.
lucky.
She got lucky.
She's got lucky race after race after race. This time she's lucky at the draw. This is an interesting race, and I think it's a tricky race.
Very
And one of the
interesting
reasons is
race.
that Silky Blue, who might win, she's got some hang in her.
She has
she's
shown
not-
that
she's no
she has
superstar.
shown that on multiple
And
occasions.
she's no superstar. That's the other thing with Sarah Love. There's no superstars in here.
Different distance, different situations, different pace scenarios. She has shown that she is a little bit camera shy. I don't disagree. And she's going to be a short price. I think people are going to lean heavily on Silky Blue. I do. I think she's going to be a short price. I think she's under 2-1.
She is under 2 to
Yeah.
1. I agree. And she probably should be.
Probably should be.
Race number 5 before we take a break. This is my favorite morning line. What price do you think Eagle Pass, who's 4-1, fourth choice on the board, is going to be in this race? Isn't
Mr.
he's going to
Dougie
be the
Fred-
favorite, right?
I mean, how is Eagle Pass not favored in this race?
Off this race, take a look at his last
I
race.
don't understand how that happens. Mr. Dougie Fresh, the 5-2 morning line favorite. The horse hasn't run in a year. Cutting
I
in
know
half.
that he won't be the fourth choice. If he's not favored, I'll be surprised.
I mean, no offense to Bruce Levine, but this horse was trained by Jason Service, Rudy Rodriguez, and Rob Actress in his last 3 starts, and they think this horse is going to be the favorite on the morning line? Off a year layoff? I mean, this race for Eagle Pass, I mean, quite frankly, the race at Aqueduct in the mud, the race on the dry track here last time, I mean, how much you want? If I told you he was definitively going to run that last race, how much would you want on him in here?
At 4-1?
We could trade him nicely at 4-1, couldn't we? Wow. I mean, and he's supposed to get. I mean, when I know full
He's run
salute.
cheaper, so I kind of get it. But so is Ninth Hour, who's somehow 7-2, and there's no chance that he's a shorter price than Eagle Pass. And I mean,
So I'm a little surprised.
That's
I'm
not
a
like
little
a-
surprised you and I didn't agree more here. I have to be honest.
I'm
I'm a
never
little
surprised
shocked.
I'm always surprised when we agree.
I thought Ninth Hour just made.
I don't
two-
think he has a prayer in here.
Wow.
I don't like it
Just
at
sitting off full salute.
all. I don't care what he does.
I mean, this is just
Why do I care what he does?
because isn't
He's
he
not good enough to win.
Well, because isn't he
He's not good
the
enough to win.
true 6 furlong horse in this race, though?
I don't know. His good races were 6.5 furlongs and 5.5 furlongs, so I don't know what that means.
I think he's. I think he's.
The all his
The,
good races are 5.5 furlongs, so I don't really know. So no, we don't agree
I think
there
he's
either.
the horse I want at 6
I don't like
furlongs
him at
in
all.
here.
He'd be a C.
That's crazy.
He'd be a C if I played.
Wow.
I think he's completely dressed up with nowhere to go in here. He won an awful 12-5 claimer here when nobody showed up, and he waltzed along on a moderate pace. He won a 5.5 furlong race when Munaki didn't show up last time. Munaki. No, I didn't like him at all. Well, who's riding Eagle Pass, by the way?
That would be Javier Castellano.
Javier had a very eventful
And
days
Louis
off.
Saez
Javier
rides.
spent quality time with Sean's brother.
Louis
You know,
Sa-
I have the photographic
I
evidence
did not know
of it.
that. Louis Saez
I had to
rides.
text Javier about that.
Louis
Stay
Saez
away
ri-
from that guy.
Louis Saez rides Mr. Dougie Fresh, which is appropriate since Mr. Dougie Fresh started in his agent's barn, Kieran McLaughlin.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I knew that. That is cool.
We hit him that was one of the first times we ever teamed up on a pick. The mile race at Aqueduct. He paid like $22 on the turf in the second race. Remember that day?
yeah.
He
Well, by
was a
head.
stupid price.
He was
Yeah.
alone speed.
Yep.
He paid 22. I thought he paid like 10 or 12. I think he paid 12.
12?
I think
Okay.
he paid 12. Maybe he paid more, but I thought he paid 12. That's funny. Yeah, it was like second race. Was
Second
it?
race.
Yeah.
Yep.
As far as Mr. Dougie Fresh, listen, maybe he will be favored. I don't know how he's favored. His last 2 races aren't as fast as the 2 horses we mentioned, and they came a year ago. He was, by the way, he was claimed by Mike Rapoli and Rudy Rodriguez, for what it's worth. And now he's with Bruce Levine. He can win. I wouldn't want him to beat me in here, but I can't bet horses like this. He's an ex-Jason Service, too.
Right. The odds of this horse being, I mean, I guess he could be favored if you look at his, he's got the Tom Fool on his card. He's got the allowance races. He's dropping in for the lowest tag of his career, maybe, or the lowest tag in a long time, I should say, if not his career. I guess he's favored. I just don't know how you would
I
want
asked
to take
David
this
Aragona
horse.
who he would have made favorite, but he's on a beach somewhere.
Good for him.
with horsey towels. Did you see
I
his
mean,
horsey towels?
I did. Eagle
I'm a
Pass
little
off.
jealous. I'm a
Eagle
little bitter
Pass
and a
off the
little
last race has to be the favorite, and he's the fourth choice.
He's not going to be the fourth choice.
But I'm just
If he
saying,
is, you know where he's going to finish?
fourth,
Right.
or worse.
Or worse. And you know, what's his name? Your man, Wade Potts. Got good numbers off the claim. Dirt sprints. He's like, it's okay.
Yeah, they'll put my man
19
Potts
for
on top.
81.
Like I said, I worry about this more than you do, when you say it all. We say it all the time.
I don't think the six
think
at all.
Ninth Hour is the 6 furlong horse.
Okay, you're picking him because Chris Englehart's in a big run.
No,
I know
I'm telling you why I'm picking him. I'm picking him, Andy, because I think he's the most accomplished of the. I mean, Papazar is the most accomplished, but I think of the 6 furlong horses.
He's 5 for 9 in non-6 furlong races, and he's 2 for 9 in 6 furlong races.
Right, but the
And
other
you think this is
horses,
his
I think
distance.
he has the edge at 6 furlongs. I do.
Maybe there's
do.
something in this water.
I didn't have water.
In mine.
Oh,
'cause
in
I must
yours?
be tripping.
I don't know.
I like the Queen's Jewels. We'll take a look at the Queen's Jewels. And granted, this was an absolutely perfect trip. But I gotta tell you something. I think Mr. Phil is better than a lot of these horses.
He is.
And last time he ran going a mile, he had no shot in that race. Now,
And
I'm
right
not gonna
now, he's
argue.
better than these horses, especially.
I think this horse has been in very good form for Chris Englehart, and I like him in this spot. I think he's kind of the one in form that's sort of dropping. I like the 3 and 4 in this race. They're the two that I would lean on.
Okay. He can absolutely win. Like I said, I do
I had some
think.
very good lunch results here last week.
I do think a little bit more ground would suit him. The one win he had at 6
won
was
one
against.
Can I take the 3 over the 6? Chris Englehart.
Yeah, I'll
battle?
take one. We'll take
For
Chris
one
Englehart
lunch.
battle, sure.
74. You won the last race. I won the other 2.
Yeah. It's an interesting race. Listen,
I think it's an interesting race. I agree.
race.
Listen, I don't think either one of us is saying Mr. Dougie Fresh can't win.
No.
I can't take him strong off the layoff. Shall we take a break? And
We're going to have to. We got the late pick 4 to talk about still.
we do. We don't have much time left.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Oh, we have time.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Did you check Twitter to see if there have been more than no complaints?
I did not. Hello.
Hi, he's Anthony Stabile. We're wondering if Anthony's had some mic issues.
I can hear myself, so.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You sound like you're live in the mic. I hear you in my ear.
Me.
I'll take a look at Twitter because there will be many, many upset people if you
Oh, yeah.
know. So either nobody cares, which is always possible, or
What do you think about this heat? This was a little bit of a
this race. I like this
brain
race.
buster.
I like this race. Take a look at Dante's Fire, winning back in July 4th of last year. He's coming off the layoff. The thing about him is that he needs a fast pace, but there's the potential for this pace to be kind of quick. So I thought he could win here. I picked him second. He does need some pace, but I think he's like not a kind of horse I trust, but he's a must-use, isn't he?
Got Big Wonder in there. You got Democratic Values trying turf for the first time. You got Malthial,
Well, you got
who's forward.
Gerrymander and Democratic Values on the same card.
There you do.
Very exciting day here at Belmont.
Yeah, I mean, he got a brilliant setup this day. I mean, they cooked up front, and he just came rolling late.
But he also had been very unlucky in prior races.
He had, yep. He didn't have things go his way, and he got
He's
kind of got all his good luck.
I'll tell you my strongest opinion in this race. I loathe the horse that you picked.
I didn't know what to do with him, Andy.
I did.
I know you did. I put him right back on. I put him on top.
Why?
I don't know what happened last time.
Well, I don't know. I know what happened. What happened two back? He was awful two back. Do you realize that he barely beat Larceny?
He was awful two back.
He was awful. That was an uncompetitive field. Crypto Cash is not that good. I thought he was terrible. I picked him that day. I thought he was horrendous. And then he's easy.
I think we both picked him that day. That was part of the game. He was part of an entry that day, right? Yeah. Yeah, I
don't want
had
any
a
part of
tough
this
time
race.
with the race. I went back to him. He's got that 47. You know, you got to work after you get easy. You got to work for the vet. He was supposed to work 47. I'm not somebody that usually looks at that, but it kind of was like it was just
He's
kind
got
of
the
like a
biggest
sign.
odor.
Like, yeah,
The problem is,
but he has races that could annihilate these
Anthony,
horses.
those races,
They're probably gone.
I had hair.
Wow.
He had those races. I had hair. Okay. Once I had hair. I once had a nice full head of hair. I don't.
I remember
okay,
you had
I'm
hair.
past it. The last Zips race, if he didn't have his last race, you're supposed to bet against him off his race 2 back. And now he hasn't eased, which has to mean something. And he's 7-2 morning line. Listen, he wins, I lose. I can live with myself if he wins.
Okay.
He beat Larceny. The problem is, where else do you go? There's Malthial, who doesn't seem to be able to run anymore.
But this is
well,
a big drop in class for him,
Kid Mercury.
isn't it?
Malthial can win. I've got him for
Yeah.
third. I'm not. He's on my tickets. I like Kid Mercury in here for Grand Motion. I know he's had his chances. I get it. You know what? He got a ridiculous trip last time. He was 4 wide around the racetrack last time. I think he's going to run a lot better today. I just feel like that race was coming off a 7-month layoff. He's got plenty of races good enough to win here. He'll be a fair enough price, and I don't want anybody else. And he was given an absolute no-shot trip at his last start. And I just go through these. Who am I supposed to take besides him?
Yeah. Well,
You don't even have him
I didn't
anywhere.
like him, but I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying.
How's he going to win?
Yeah.
That was some field he beat last time. So my feeling with Kid Mercury is, if he still has legs, he found the right field to get it done. I'll key in on the 3-6 and 3-10 and a 10-3 and a little 4 here. They'd be like 2 A's and a B, depending on how much I spent. The rest of them you can have. I've got the 11 4th, Reckless Spirit. I guess he's got race to give him a chance. The Bond Barn is appearing to be waiting for Saratoga at this point.
Yeah, this was a head scratcher. This being in the pick 5, the pick 6, and the pick 4
okay.
is a brain buster
It's
for
not
me.
easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. Race number 7.
Another one, a good race. This is a good race.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough race. The worst to beat is the 7 in here, high opinion. Obviously, she's got to get a 1.25 miles. We'll show her last race. She just came a little short to publication. Her race 2 back was very good, and I think they should try to be a little more forward with her in this race. I think she's very logical.
And I see. I kind of feel like she was ridden pretty hard to get going.
Well, she was
Maybe
coming
the
off
ground's going to
coming
help.
off a 6, 7, 5 month
She
layoff.
was. She was.
Needed a race.
I don't know.
When she run badly? I mean, her maiden
she
win was
hasn't.
good.
She hasn't.
The duopoly race was terrific. She'd be Vigilante's way. She was wide the whole way. She'd be out of her game. I'm not in love with her, but I think she's way the horse to beat in this race.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 1.25 miles, you just don't
Mile and
know
a quarter
if
is a
the
big
more
question.
distance is better for her. You
Yeah.
just don't know. If it is, she'll be fine, but she's good. Who'd you pick on top?
I liked Higher Truth. I liked Higher Truth's maiden win.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No,
I did.
come on. This is like April Fool's Day. or something.
I did.
Why?
I think it just looked like she improved a lot from the first start to the second start.
How'd you like the race the Coalition Building
ground-
ran the next time?
I didn't. But the ground.
How'd you like the race the Lachine built?
I
that
didn't.
ran?
But I'm not worried about. Listen. I liked her effort. I didn't love the race she came out of, but I like her effort. She's been the 1.25 miles. You know, she was ridden pretty confidently that day. The ground loss didn't really mean much to the rider, and just kept grinding away and got the job done. She's been the 1.25 miles. She looks to me like she's going to get better with experience. I'm going to take a little shot. In a wide open race, I didn't want to take. I didn't want
I don't
high
like this
opinion
horse
at a
at
short
all.
price. I know, yeah. I mean, obviously.
This horse isn't good at all.
The other horse I thought was interesting here was Prairie Wings, who I think.
Based on what?
Well, I think she's going to get herself to the front in here. She ran the 1 mile and 3/8 race in Saratoga. She just got beat.
Not the speed on paper, but she might be in front.
She ran behind a horse who came back to win a stakes race in her next start and blamed Debbie. And last time she lost all chance at the start. I think she'll be in front in here. Who do you think is going to be in front in here?
Well, Windfall probably will be in front if they want to go to the lead.
If they want, but I mean, I think they showed.
And Lenny Kate is as fast, if not faster than she is too. So we'll see. I don't know how the race will be ridden around here. It's a mystery. I just don't see a single race that Prairie Wings ever ran that makes her even remotely competitive. Her loss to up at Saratoga to 1 mile and 3/8 was I'm going to say a top 5 most embarrassing defeats of the entire decade.
It was a turf debut, and she was going beyond a mile for the first time, and it take 3 more
Your
furlongs.
assumption is that she went 51-4, 118 and
I'm not
3,
saying- listen.
and she lost to no. I'm going to finish. And she lost to a horse that was coming from nowhere in there and still beat her. She was atrocious in defeat.
See, you and I look at that very differently.
Yes, I look at it realistically, and you're in Never Never Land.
I don't know. Listen, if you,
Where's her good race,
I've
though?
kind of had enough of Windfall Profit.
So
And
have I. The
have
last race was
questions
bad.
about. I have questions about High Opinion. She looks just like the
Okay,
rest of
I
them.
want to take 6 over 9, the 2 Chad Browns, for one lunch.
Okay.
And I want to take 4 over 5
Done.
for another one.
Both done.
74. Okay. Yeah, I listen, I don't get Prairie Wings. I may be wrong. I don't get her. And listen, I don't really like the 9, but I guess she could improve. Prairie Wings I don't get because I just don't ever see that she's run a good race. Now, listen, maybe she'll improve for Todd, second off a layoff, stretching under a mile and a quarter. Definitely possible. I just don't like her as a horse. And maybe she'll just walk on the front end, and that'll get her the winner's circle. I don't see it, but I suppose it's possible. I mean, I think it would be a mistake to decide that Windfall Profit doesn't have speed. I think if you're running her a mile and a quarter, aren't you supposed to be forward with her? Why would you take her away from her best game? She was second to Flighty Lady. He was pretty good.
I just don't think she's in. I've never been a fan.
She got it pretty good, and she got unlucky, and then she's kind of leveled off. Maybe she'll like the mile and a quarter. I'm going to take a shot with Winnie Kate, who I thought could be forward in here. She really didn't have a great chance in a race in Florida when she had to be so forward against horses that are much more forward-type horses. And that Cat's Pajama Lashara race was actually a pretty good field last year.
Yeah.
And she ran okay in that race, to be honest, with less than a special trip. She has a chance. She's relatively lightly raced, I thought, to prove it. Maybe she'll be better stretching out. I have no illusions, though, that High Opinion isn't the horse to beat in here. I just thought I'd use the 6 and 7 and take the ones a bigger price on top. Let me ask you a question. What about Made in Italy for Graham Motion? I'll show you a stat for Graham, in case you're interested. Foreign Shippers the Turf. He's got great numbers with these horses. And I know she doesn't look like much, but do you really want to just completely dismiss her?
I don't know. I don't love the Italy form.
Me either.
This horse has won all the
You
2
should also
wins.
like the Italian form,
I
Andy.
love
That's
it.
kind of disrespectful.
2
on your
wins came on the synthetic over there. I don't know.
No, I hear you. I just thought food for thought. I'll put it this way. If the 7 doesn't get the distance, who's so good in here?
No, I mean, we didn't talk about Costana. Well, isn't Costana supposed to get better with more distance too?
I didn't like her, but I suppose it's not impossible.
Right.
I didn't like her races out of town, but I didn't think she was good enough. But it's always possible. The distance is always a great equalizer.
Yeah.
Race number 8.
I think we agree here, right?
I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we do. We'll look at Jalen Journey. We're going to look at the last race, the first half mile. That means to the top of the stretch of the last race that Jalen Journey ran. This was legitimate trouble.
Yeah.
On the inside. It's the one horse on the inside in the blue. Horse is charging up on the inside in a big, fast-paced race and just gets completely and totally stayed out. That's Ramon Vasquez, by the way.
Yeah.
You know who his agent is?
Jose Santos Jr.
Billy Castle. No, wait. Maybe it's Jose Santos Jr. Who's the guy who won the stake on Lone Rock?
Ramon Vasquez. Is that Billy
That's
Castle?
Billy Castle.
Oh, okay. No, I mean,
This horse, wow.
now, a lot of people aren't going to
That's
remember that
trouble.
because it's Kentucky Derby Day. I had not seen that race until taking a
Took
look.
up sharply
Yeah,
would
I
be
mean,
correct.
the understatement of the century.
This horse was totally eliminated. Didn't even
How about
lose
this
by
horse
that
gets beat
much.
5 lengths? How
And-
do you get beat 5 lengths off of that?
It's amazing. And 7 furlongs, the main speed, horse to beat.
Jose Lascano rides Jalen Journey today?
Had a big day Sunday, 4 wins.
Yeah. I mean,
No, it's just a very logical horse.
This
But,
horse is very
We
logical.
could go right to the replay of Mijos. I mean, I don't have a knock on Mijos. I think Joel suits this horse well. And I just think he's much the other horse. I'd lean very heavily on these two, the 1 and 5.
yeah. I like Town Classic a little bit. I mean,
Based on
this
what?
race, this horse has been such an underachiever, and he finally comes up with this race. 2
I don't think he's
starts
an
back.
underachiever. I think he's inconsistent.
Don't they go hand in hand
Maybe
sometimes,
you're not
Andy?
wrong. That's not. You know what? You're right. You're right. No, you're right. That's fair. He's an underachiever.
You know what I wonder? You know what the other problem is?
Because he's got talent. He just can't seem to show any consistency.
I'm going to tell you what the other problem is, and this isn't going to make sense. You'll poo-poo this is my voodoo. They took the blinkers off this horse when he ran that race, and maybe it was just something new. And he came back last time. He ran okay last time.
He ran fine last time. There's
He
no
ran
pace at
fine.
all. They're better horses.
Right. He was one of the 3 horses that broke through the gate that day.
There you go.
He ran fine.
What do you like about Town Classic?
I think Town Classic is
He's
the
the
other
morning
one.
line favorite, Town Classic?
Well, I mean, you're gonna get sucked into the 2 stakes races last time. Yeah, sure. You got to be the length of Basin and 4 lengths
the
to Forense
city-
Fire.
Basin.
Well,
You know, Basin's
buddy, we want
Connections
me to
told
tell
me
you
on
here.
Twitter that they were going to stick to one-turn races this year.
He's in the Salvatore Mile.
He's in the Salvatore Mile. I meant to bring that up. I'll be bringing that up on Twitter.
This is a horse that used to have more speed and be more forward. Now, I don't know if it's been
just think it was good enough.
a decision to take off. Well, you know me. Maybe he's the first one to come calling on Jalen Journey. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I like Jalen Journey a lot
I think
today.
Gemography is the one that's a little interesting. We'll take a look at his race 2 back when he was second to Big Engine. I'll tell you something about him. He can be forward. Can he be sitting second behind the number 5 horse? He's the first one that comes
Well,
calling.
I don't. You want to know what? When you first look at this race, you think that's a possibility. But the fact of the
When you
matter
actually
is,
handicap it, you do.
the fact of the matter is, last summer and at Finger Lakes was a different story. Last time they tried being aggressive with him, and maybe it was just too tough of a field. But
Yeah, it was a pace to completely
yeah,
collapse.
he collapsed.
He shows the speed he showed in that race. He'll be right there.
But he made his bread and butter this winter was sitting off the pace.
I'll tell you one thing about this horse. Mark Hennigs did a great job with him. This horse has been in good form for
He
6
won
months.
3 in a row. He got beat a half
Been in
length
good form.
twice.
This horse 8 months. This horse got into Mark's barn, and I mean, look at the improvement that this horse showed. It's very rare the horse comes from Finger Lakes and improves the way this horse did. Mark has done some job with this horse. All
Yeah,
kidding
that
aside.
one race at Finger Lakes where he
He
got,
didn't run
where he
that
got loose
badly
on the
last
lead.
time. He
He
actually
did
ran
not
pretty
run
well
badly
last
last time. But I do think
don't
that
wanna sleep on
after
this horse.
being forward last time and not getting anything, I think he'll be off the pace
Not
today.
much speed in here, so I think he'll be forward. They're not
Okay.
going to take him off the pace. The pace will bring him in.
What's
the slow
forward? He'll
pace
be
will-
laying third?
second. Be very foolish for him not to be laying second here, in my opinion.
All right. I think it lines up 5-2, but I could be wrong.
Okay. No, listen. It's
I'd be
around
more
here,
forward
who
with
knows?
Town Classic. Town Classic used to be fast.
I don't get Town Classic.
Okay.
And I don't believe he'll be. You think he'll be favored here, Town Classic? I guess he's stayed.
How was Jalen Journey not favored off that last race?
I thought he
off
was a
that
cinch
trip
to be favored.
He's got to
here.
be 8-5, no?
I thought he was a cinch to be favored, but what do I know?
Mios, maybe Mios takes the money. Broke through the gate, got beat 4 lengths to better horses.
He's too
I don't
inconsistent
know.
to be favored. We'll take
I
a
have
look
no
at the
clue.
last race. We'll move on to race number 9, the final leg.
Number
the pick
9.
6. And we'll look at the race that a bunch of these are coming out of. Dream Point and Ghostmon ran second and third. 8 weeks long. 8 weeks long gets Dylan Davis, I believe, for this race. 8 weeks long deserves a good ride and a trip, doesn't he? I mean, this
Man.
horse has gotten one banana ride. The ride this horse got at Aqueduct in November was a comedy show. And then just got way back, 2 back. And then the rider last time made a 4 or 5 wide
Looking
middle
for a,
move
looking
on
for
this
a hot
horse.
dog. The
Frankly,
proverbial
didn't
hot
even
dog
run
move.
that badly behind the others. Not necessarily tired at the end. I can't. I got to go back to this
I
horse.
know you were going
can't
to
stay
take
away
him.
from this
I
horse.
almost stole your horse. And I
I
put him
can't.
4th instead, 3rd instead.
No,
originally
you
4th.
didn't put him. You didn't put
I
him
put him
third.
4th.
Right.
I had him 4th.
You got another fortunate scratch.
Come on, you picked the horse second. Give me a
Clements
break,
came out
man.
in here.
Please.
Christophe, I'd like to say
Anyway,
on behalf of Anthony,
I'd like to say one
thank you
thing.
for scratching horses.
I would
that he was
like
gonna
to say
embarrass
you're
himself
such a
with today.
sick guy.
It was very nice
What
of
a
you.
sick
I know what you
individual.
did, and it was nice of you.
I don't like the fact that I scratched into the favorite. I almost changed it and made it 6-5, but I'll leave it alone. Listen, I'm going to say one thing. Dylan Davis has come back, I think, a stronger rider. And he's had a good start. He won some races at
He was
Monmouth.
working as a longshoreman, actually.
Listen,
since
you
the
think
Titans like-
everything's
I watched
a joke.
I watched Cinderella Man. I thought
Everything's
I
a
watched
joke with
Cinderella
you.
Man the other day.
You're the
Do you
fourth
not
person.
love Cinderella
You're
Man?
the 4th person that watched this movie when it was on cable the other day.
No, I watched it. It was on demand. I love that movie. You've watched it, right?
Yeah, of course.
How do you not like that?
Dylan's come back stronger than when he left. I think that's going to help this horse a lot. This horse is on my tickets. He's on all my tickets. Rudy's horse
movie.
makes sense. Ghost Mom.
I don't even like Ron Howard.
Ghost
movies.
Mom.
I like that movie.
Pivotal Run's the interesting horse. Gelding Lasix.
Based on what?
Horse got beat the
No, I know you're
step dancer first time out, and then last time behind Breadman, who might be okay. Went to the bench 7 months now, gone.
I think you can give up on Brad.
Gelding, yeah, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Can I say the
Gelding-
problem? And I hear you on
The
Pivotal
problem
Run.
is he's going to be overbet.
No, and he can win. He can win, and I agree. I
I
probably
don't have a
was
rider
little
for
remiss
Pivotal Run, but somebody will
letting
ride
him
the
out.
horse.
His first race is a complete fraud.
Well, everything collapsed,
It was
yeah.
a total collapse
Yeah.
fest.
I got it.
It turns out the step dancer has been good, but you're not wrong. I'm kidding you. Ghostmon may win. I don't want Ghostmons. I'll tell you what I'm shocked about. It took a scratch for you to have Druid in here. There was a half to McKagan and Red Knight.
I know.
Magician for your man Bill Mott.
Tag bothered me from day one.
If Lee owned this horse, you'd had him hired.
Here we go.
The tag bothered me. The tag bothered me.
Tag
too.
bothered me. Debut doors for a tag.
No, I agree. But he's a homebred. He is a
Yeah,
homebred.
I
But
guess.
no, I agree. The
Tag bothered me.
Tag bothered me a
Tag
little
bothered
bit.
me.
But he's in there, too. I had him third because I had him for second. So, Christoph, thank you. For me, too.
I'm not happy with Christoph today. Coco Pelli and this horse in the last. Costing me money before the day starts.
Christoph is home planning other ways that he can damage the Naira television shows. He's working a lot of hard work at the Clement household on that. You guys are doing a heck of a job. Anthony, it was great to be back. Great to be with you.
We were only gone for 3 days,
I missed
man.
you.
Missed
3 days
you
without
too,
you.
but
We
you're
only- we
very,
talked like once.
yeah.
Billy Castle checked in. He said he's no longer speaking to you because you didn't even know those horses.
Don't take a number.
It's not what he said. I'm kidding. He would never say that.
Take a number.
Carryover. Head over to Naira Bets.
Big
Best way
day.
to play all the action. Yeah, come back with the carryover.
There he is.
Little lull. There he is. Performer's back. He's in the breeding shed, but he's live at Naira Bets.
Discovery winner.
Use the promo code match 200. Use the promo code match 200, and we will match for $200.
I think it's only
initial
appropriate that we
deposit.
replace him with tax.
You're a
Since he beat him in the
At
Discovery.
least he's still running. You know, maybe
Here we go.
What
Francisco,
else do we
move
got?
on,
Please, Francisco,
please.
move on from Get Performer out of there. Belmont Saturday contest, $300. You have until 5 o'clock tomorrow. Love the live money contests. What else?
We got the opt-in. It's new.
Oh, no, yeah, the
Now,
opt-in.
does this mean that it's not the app? This is anything, right?
It's on the app. It's anywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
I assume.
Right.
You got to find the opt-in. So in other words, you participate. All you got to do is hit the button. Say you're participating in it, I assume, I guess.
I'm in.
Opt-in.
Like an Ocean's 11.
Ask
Are you in or
Naira
you're
Bets.
out?
Don't ask me. I only work here. 50-50, Belmont and Churchill. American Day at Races, by the way, is 3 to 8:30.
8:30.
Also, Francisco, we got that carryover. Take your time. $69,660, races 4 through 9. It's a great pleasure, Anthony. I'm going to go back upstairs.
Good luck if you play
Sleep
today.
for a while.
You play this pick six today. You going to sleep?
Yeah, I'm going to
That's
nap
awesome.
for an hour or two before I get
Okay.
ready to go on at 3.
You're going to go do radio.
All right, we're done. Enjoy.
See you mañana.
You enjoy as well. Johnny I will be up with the reprise, the Scratched and Changes.